Am I live? Good morning, everybody. Everybody in the room and everybody on live stream. You guys can keep going. We are just live streaming. Started at 11, so I need to say something to people out there in that world. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see a whole bunch more teams in this room closer to 12 when we actually do kickoff. We are monitoring the YouTube channel, so anybody who has any kind of questions should put them in the YouTube channel, in the chat. I don't know if we have audio where they can actually speak. Okay, nope. You can just type us your question and we will figure out what you're trying to ask us. What you guys were seeing was a bunch of pictures from, I think, our competitions last year. And things that you guys had submitted, so thank you for doing that. A couple of key things, and then I'm going to kind of wait a little bit and wait till we have more people in the room and more people online, so we'll go back to that. I just didn't want you guys all out there in YouTube world to think we were ignoring you, because we knew you were there. One thing I would suggest that you guys all take a look at is the comp schedule. Competition schedule is set. That is something that has been a goal for a really long time, and we have done it for everybody except one team or one competition, which is in Rochester in December, and that is not for lack of trying. Oh, Tyler has put it on the board, so now you can't see me. It's up there. Rochester, the Finger Lakes competition, unfortunately, is waiting for their school district to tell them when we can actually be there. So that will be one of the two competitions in December. They will be one of those 2 weeks. We have instituted a new thing this year about third competitions. Third competitions, you guys know that you've always, when you've gone on to register, you've automatically gotten 2, and then your third one is waitlisted, and we figure out whether or not we can fit you in a wait list. In order to try to fill more of our December competitions and give people more playtime, because what ends up happening, anybody who's been to a December competition knows, everybody's scared, so they wait, and then by the end, by our February ones, we have a wait list because now everybody's ready. So what we've instituted this year is if you're willing to register for a December competition, you get 2 things. The one thing you get is you get to register a week earlier than everybody else. And again, I don't have those dates right in my head, but I think November 1st might be our target, so it's whatever the week before November 1st is. So you get earlier registration right off the bat. And if you register for a December competition and you want 3, you get 3. And you get your third choice. There is no wait list. You just automatically get a third competition, and you will get to do it and pay for it right then and there and be done. The wait list will still apply if you at that point don't know if you want to do a December or want to just wait till January but still want 3, then you go on the wait list and we see how things shake out as far as where people fit. Trying to encourage early competitions, register early and do more. And it's also trying to make sure that we're not always being penalized for doing a December one and only getting 2. So it was something that we played around with and is what we're going to do this year. There's more details on it on your actual registration form that you guys will see. I don't know if it came out. I'll be honest, I've read Tina's emails a bunch of times, but I don't know if she put it out there yet or if she's going to. But that's a good and a big change for Excelsior this year, which is extremely, extremely exciting. A couple other game manual part 1 notes for everyone to know. First of all, the Rev Control Hub is back in stock. So we can get Rev Control Hubs. First choice for you guys would be to get it through your first dashboards. Register and get it through your first dashboards because there is a discount on it. So not only is it on the Rev dashboard, it's also in the Rev store. And I looked this morning. So as of this morning, about an hour ago, they were in stock in Rev as well. I believe that they're feeling like they're not going to have a supply chain issue again. Did we think we'd have one in the first place? No. But the other thing that they've done is that as of next year, there will be no phones, and Tyler's going to have to help me on this, on the robot side. On one of the phones will go away on the robot side. There will be no legal phones on the robot side. So the reason that that's noteworthy for this year and right now, and what we want people to keep in mind, is if you're going out and you have to buy something for your robot side, really consider whether you want it to be a phone. Because the phones keep getting more and more expensive, and you're really only going to get it for this year. And as of next year, they're not going to be able to be used. So just useful information to make sure that people know, to make sure that you're not buying something that you're not going to have to be able to use. That is a big one. Tyler, what have you got?
So more of the general thing for Game Manual Part 1. This year's SDK minimum is going to be 9.0, so you have to download the new SDK if you're going to do anything this year. Everyone hopefully saw the post that came out that there are no April tags or QR codes used by teams on the field this year because we're using QR codes as part of the field this year. So anyone that was using April tags in the past, those are illegal for teams and anything on a robot or on anything else on the field. Minimum Android is 7.0 this year, so you have to have Android 7 on your phone. The 6.3 doesn't work. It does cause some issues with the Moto G4 plays. So if you haven't updated your Moto G4 Play already, it might be difficult to do that update because you can't do that as an over-the-air update anymore. So they're not putting it out as a simple one-touch download a new version. You would have to, I think, go through and sideload the update, which I don't know how easy that is. So that's another reason to really look at getting those Rev devices, because the Android phones, some of them have gone out of date, and some of them are no longer going to be legal because you have to have Android 7.0.
I thought of something as you were saying it, but now it totally went out of my mind, out of my head. Oh, I know. When Tyler was just talking about Rev, and we were talking about Rev being able to order them online, the Rev discounts also came back for this year. So there's a 15% discount for Rev stuff if you buy right from the site as opposed to buying from your dashboard. It is in your first dashboard. So the only way, I've looked at registration. We're at 42 teams, which is awesome for kickoff to start. But I know that there's a lot of you out there because everybody's been getting this, whether you're registered or not. You can't get the discount until you're actually registered with First. So just keep that in mind. I know a lot of you guys, school has just started, so I also, no questions, no whatever, but I also know that, people are waiting. That 15% discount will show up in your First dashboard once you're registered. But Rev just announced it yesterday that they would do it again this year. Not a shock, but now we each have individual codes, and then you could go in and there's 12 pages worth of stuff you can order from Rev. So just keep that in mind. It's a reason to register for First with First now rather than waiting, and it's a way to get 15% off your Rev stuff. So, anything else? All right, so honestly, you guys, we're going to give you guys a few minutes. We're going to let this room fill up a little bit more, answer any questions that are right here, and nothing in the YouTube. I know most of you guys have probably logged on and now are doing your own thing because you don't want to listen to me right now. So if you have any questions, we will continue to monitor YouTube channel, and honestly, we will be back probably in 15 minutes. We have a recorded message from Tina. We will play that before 12, and then at 12 o'clock we'll get for what everybody really wants, and when that's over, we'll reveal the field. All right, see you guys in a few minutes. So everyone who is just starting to join us on live stream, I know that none of you guys, you're all ready for the 12 o'clock thing much more than you are us. Tina has recorded a message to everyone, and we are going to play that at 10 of 12, and then we will move on from there. So I just don't want you guys to be sitting there thinking that nobody's paying attention to you. We realize you're there, but we don't have a lot to share with you yet. All right, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, guys, everybody in the room. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. We are very excited. It's going to be a really cool field, and soon you're going to get to see that. But before we do that, we have a message from Tina. Tina, for those of
Hello,
you
New
who
York
don't know,
Excel.
Tina is our regional partner. She works out at MVCC, and she last year had me read a thing, and I'm very excited that she instead videoed it. So, hit it. Hit it.
Hello, New York Excelsior teams and volunteers, and a huge welcome to all of our new teams out there. Many cheerful greetings from myself, Tina Betts, First Tech Challenge PDP, or Program Delivery Partner for the New York Excelsior First Tech Challenge region. Mohawk Valley Community College, or MVCC in Utica, New York, is proud to be the generous and dedicated partner organization for your fantastic region of teams in all of New York State, except for New York City and Long Island. They have their own regions. Thank you so much to the fantastic kickoff coordinators and volunteers who have helped make our 6 New York Excelsior kickoffs possible in Peekskill, Buffalo, Corning, Utica at MVCC, Albany, and at Clarkson University. Your time and expertise are greatly appreciated. It's a very exciting day today worldwide, as the new First Tech Challenge game will be revealed all across the world to thousands of teams. Everyone is excited to see your progress over the coming months and look forward to seeing your innovative robot designs and programming. On behalf of MVCC and FIRST, I wish to convey a message of support, community, and admiration to all the fabulous teams, coaches, mentors, parents, and volunteers for all you do to create life-changing experiences each first season. Positivity, perseverance, encouragement, teamwork, and paying it forward should be at the forefront of everything we do. We love that our New York Excelsior region teams want to exemplify gracious professionalism in all they do. Gracious professionalism encourages high-quality work, emphasizes the value of others, and respects individuals in the community. Gracious professionals learn and compete and treat one another with respect and kindness in the process. To participate this exciting competition season, if you have not already, please register with FIRST as soon as possible in your FIRST account dashboard. Also complete any unfinished tasks there and update the team's account with any name changes or new or retired coach contacts. Coaches should consistently keep an eye on your emails all season from FIRST at MVCC, also from tbets@mvcc.edu, and also from our region's first senior mentor, Lisa Russell, lrussell@firstinspires.org. Also read all the team blasts that are sent directly from First Tech Challenge. Links to all these emails can be found on the First at MVCC Team Resources webpage. Coaches, please forward all of these communications of important season updates and opportunities to your team members. New York Excelsior competition dates are set and can be found on the First at MVCC events webpage, in addition to registration details. Tournament registration happens through myself and MVCC, not through your FIRST dashboard. Tournament registration will open at the end of October and early November. You'll receive an email from me in early October with a reminder about tournament registration and all of the details. Throughout the season, all coaches and team members should carefully read Game Manuals 1 and 2 and all of their frequent updates. Also check the posts and updates on the FTC forum, and this way all competitions can be as successful for every team and volunteer as possible. During any tournament, the best alliance partners are those who are familiar with the game rules, competing by graciously strategizing and collaborating, and also treating each other and all of our hard-working volunteers with respect. Have a ton of fun today and with all of your brainstorming and finding interesting solutions for this amazing new game. You're going to love it. We look forward to a first-rate year together, and I wish everyone an amazing and productive season. I will see you all soon, and thank you for making our New York Excelsior region so awe-inspiring. Onward and upward to all of you. Inspire and be inspired. Be New York Excelsior proud.
That was so much more awesome than when I tried to read it off of a piece of paper. So thank you, Tina. Few housekeeping, whatever notes. Bathrooms are that way, in case anyone needs to go. I put up on the whiteboard the dates of the scrimmages and work days that will be here. I put them in scrimmages when I send them to you guys, and then I get people who say, can't do this because I'm not ready to scrimmage. So now we're trying to change it to work days, because really what it is 5 hours where we can do get a lot done. So we will be here, hopefully we will be over in the new building, for those dates and those times. We'll have the field set up, we'll do the collaboration of teams like we do, and I really highly encourage that you guys be a part of this as much as you can, and for whatever groups of your teams that can come. For those of you who are on YouTube, can you see it? Okay, so our dates are September 30th, October 21st, November 18th. They will hit Tina's calendar as soon as I actually send them to her. So that is on me. So they'll be there. There's also a scrimmage already scheduled down at John Jay. And I feel like there's one somewhere else that I've seen that didn't hit the board or hit her page yet. Again, I will say, just like Tina said, bookmark her first at MVCC page and look at it often, because that's where anything you guys need can be found. Also be found by emailing me or her, but go there first and then come to us. We try to keep that as updated as we possibly can, and it is a wealth of information. Probably sometimes a little bit more than everybody can digest. So, and big note of interest is that there are 2 December dates for competitions already. One will be at John Jay on December 2nd, and one will be out in Rochester either on the 9th or the 16th of December. Anything else? All right, well, I have to kill another 5 minutes because we can't start to show you this stuff. It's going to be fun. Again, I don't know if everybody heard, so I'll do a couple of the things that we talked about before. Phones are going away next year. You've got one more year with phones on your on the robot side. So control hubs are back in stock. Buy them. As of this morning, they had them. Revs discount, 15% is available when you register with First and you have your dashboard. On your dashboard, you will find a discount of 15% on your Rev orders. And it's cheaper to buy your First hub through the dashboard. So coaches, when you're taking a look, make sure you take a look at the communication sets that are out there as well. What else? Not a lot, not a ton of stuff has changed as far as Game Manual Part 1 is concerned. All right, well, we got 2 minutes. So I'm going to do one, I don't want to get in trouble. I am going to do one really big push to say we have 2 Capital District competitions this year. We have one in Albany and we have one in Broad Albany. We can always use volunteers. If your team is, what?
You're here.
Oh, thank you. I'll do it, right? I'll help. But seriously, you guys, I mean, you guys know what Tyler and I do now, part of that came just because we were trying to help. And the more that you get involved, the more you bring back to your teams, the more you learn about the process, and you stop saying, oh my God, why? Why is this how they do it? And a lot of times there's a reason. And to you guys on the outside don't necessarily always get our reasons, but there are reasons. So please, if you're not going to compete, or even if you are going to compete, we do lots of stuff that allows you to participate and have a team competing. So I really, really encourage, and the thing that we're really trying hard, we've talked a lot about this year, is training our volunteers early and often. And I am a huge proponent of our Zoom calls now that happen at 8:30 at night in my pajamas, in my house, but we're getting to people. So the one good thing that came out of COVID was we learned how to Zoom. So you can become a part of that and not have to come out to a gazillion meetings. You can talk to us for a half an hour. I'm getting a countdown because they say it's noon. Go for it. And here comes the game. We hope, and maybe there'll be sound.
Hello, First Tech Challenge teams, coaches, mentors, volunteers, parents, friends, and the entire community. I'm Amy Linebarger, and I'm happy to be here for the First Tech Challenge 2023 to 2024 season kickoff and reveal of Center Stage, presented by RTX, all part of the First In show, presented by Qualcomm season. All 10 of the 2023 Dean's List Award winners are here today, and we're honored to be your kickoff celebration hosts.
Hi First Tech Challenge, I'm Lucas Boyle, and I'm pumped to be here today to raise the curtain on our Center Stage season and celebration. We have a full show today, packed with kickoff messages from some familiar and favorite first faces, the Center Stage season reveal, and a detailed field walkthrough to help teams get started with season planning and gameplay strategy.
All of the Center Stage game materials will be published on our website after the broadcast, so please use the website as your reference during the season. To officially welcome you to our kickoff today, we have First Chief Executive Officer Chris Moore.
Hello, First Tech Challenge community. The First In show, presented by Qualcomm season, is here, and we're celebrating the role our STEM skills play in the arts. I'm thrilled to help usher in the new season and welcome you to Center Stage, presented by RTX. I want to take a moment to thank you, our participants, our coaches, our mentors, and our volunteers. Thank you for making First Tech Challenge program the successful, engaging, and fun program that it is. We also wouldn't be here today without the generous support of our sponsors. I want to extend a very special thanks to the First Tech Challenge season presenting sponsor, RTX. This season, more than 70,000 First Tech Challenge participants from around the world will raise the curtain on the power of using design, creativity, and precision to create all new experiences. On behalf of everyone here at First, I want to wish all of you good luck and a great season. We can't wait to see how you take on the game this year and put your skills center stage.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. A huge thank you to all our generous sponsors this year and making the First In-show season and Center Stage game possible. Inspired by the innovative spirit of First participants, Qualcomm's support and collaboration continues to help strengthen the pipeline of STEM leaders who will create a future pushing the limits of innovation.
Hello, First Tech Challenge teams, and welcome to Center Stage, part of the First In-show season presented by Qualcomm. My name is Kedar Kundap, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Compute and Gaming at Qualcomm Technologies, Inc. Every day, we use STEAM to push the edge of what's possible in extended reality. From recreating legendary cinematic effects to reimagining how technology can allow audiences to have immersive experiences in art, music, and gaming. This season, Your innovative spirit and unique skill sets will take center stage as you shine a spotlight on the endless possibilities of art and STEM. The future is yours to create. So, take the stage. Good luck, First Tech Challenge teams.
Thanks, Qualcomm. And now, the Center Stage season presenting sponsor, RTX, is taking us backstage to show us the beauty and importance of design and some of their most incredible innovations.
Welcome to the 2023 First Tech Challenge season, Center Stage presented by RTX. I'm the Industrial Manager in the Hot Section Module Center here at Pratt & Whitney. This is one of many production sites that makes us a world leader in design, manufacturing, and service of aircraft engines. As an RTX employee, I'm able to share my operations and career coaching expertise with the First Tech Challenge teams I coach. Shout out to my robotics warriors in Connecticut and Montana. This year's First Tech Challenge season explores how design can set the stage for innovation. We'll celebrate the role of STEM in the arts where creativity can inspire big ideas. Let's take a quick look behind the curtain at some incredible RTX innovations that exemplify the beauty in engineering and technology. At the nexus of science and art, we find the James Webb Telescope, an international project led by NASA. Raytheon developed the focal plane arrays on MIRI, one of Webb's 4 key imaging instruments. By capturing light that's been traveling for billions of years, it's giving us new insight into some of the biggest secrets of the universe and revolutionizing our understanding of it. In Asheville, North Carolina, we engineered a new future in aviation, a sustainable modern solution that was born out of design. Our team of engineers collaborated to build a world-class turbine airfoil factory that exemplifies Industry 4.0 core principles. This allows us to meet future market demand while using less energy and creating less waste. And finally, check out RTX's hybrid electric flight demonstrator program. Collins Aerospace is developing a 1 megawatt electric motor that will help reduce aircraft carbon emissions on the next generation of commercial flight. This engineering marvel delivers 4 times the power, twice the voltage, and half the weight of our current generator. Technology meets design again. This year, your First Tech Challenge team will join thousands of students worldwide to show us how design can drive innovation. It's your turn to take center stage with creativity. Best of luck this year, and remember, teamwork makes the dream work.
Wow! Thanks for the behind-the-scenes look, Mickey. And thank you for being a First Tech Challenge mentor.
We want to take a moment to remind our community that gracious professionalism is an important part of what makes First, and that it's also at the heart of each team practice and get-together, and each and every First Tech Challenge event. This year, one of our most gracious and professional volunteers, our 2023 First Championship Volunteer of the Year, Chris Johannesson, is sharing a message about gracious professionalism.
Hi, I'm Chris Johannesson. Here in Los Angeles, I mentor first teams, from beginners to advanced. I encourage gracious professionalism based on what the actual words mean to me. What is a professional? Doing challenging work, using your mind and talent and education as much as using your hands. Adult professionals push very hard towards their goals. Design the product, cure the patient, earn a promotion. They are competing against their own goals. This season, help your team set internal goals. How will you measure success? A reliable autonomous? Learning a new skill? Solve problems in a methodical way. Learn all you can beforehand. For a large technical challenge, break it into smaller steps. Discuss with your teammates and seek advice from mentors. These are things that adult professionals do. Start developing these skills now. By the way, colleges will recognize your efforts. What about the gracious part? Help your teammates all you can. Favor communication, not isolation. When you enter the robotics room, show the behavior and even the language that makes others feel welcome and valued. People will notice and stay and contribute thanks to your influence. So, gracious professionalism, to me, means being a helpful teammate while pushing hard towards your goals. Have an exciting season.
What an important message from Mr. Chris Johansson. Our team coach also makes sure gracious professionalism is a priority for our team. Next up, we have Senior Program Manager of First Tech Challenge, Joanne Halloran. Joanne has been an integral part of the First Tech Challenge team for more than 16 years and fundamental to the growth and success of our First Tech Challenge program. She joins us today to welcome you all to the Center Stage season and share a few updates.
Hi, I am Joanne Halloran, Senior Program Manager of First Tech Challenge, and I couldn't be happier to talk about the new season and this year's game, Center Stage, presented by RTX. First, I want to share my gratitude with all of you, our First Tech Challenge community. Your ability to problem solve, your creativity, your perseverance, and your smart minds have inspired all of us at First Tech Challenge. With your help, we continue to move the mission of First forward. You can help by spreading the word about First. I would love for you to tell people in your communities how the First programs have served you, your accomplishments and new skills, and how we are together changing the future. Our goal is to make First Tech Challenge available to students across the globe, and to do that, we need your help. Speaking of growing our community, thanks to the generous support of the DECA Foundation and Bosch, we have rookie team grants available. These are need-based grants that will provide $750 towards a rookie team registration and give rookie teams a head start on the purchase of their competition kits. Team and class pack season registration is open. This season, our robot technology team has developed what we call the Vision Portal, providing a common way to use TensorFlow and AprilTag, a new technology that's now part of the First Tech Challenge software. Vision Portal supports image recognition, robot navigation, multiple cameras, and many other features, all available to teams programming in FTC blocks or Java. Now it's easier for more teams to succeed in Center Stage. Like all industries, from consumer goods to food to automobiles, First was impacted in previous seasons by the challenges in the supply chain. Thanks to the hard work by Rev Robotics and our First community, we have control hubs in stock right now for teams and class pack users. Speaking of Rev Robotics, did you know that they were founded by a First alum? First alumni are folks who have graduated from high school after time on a First team. All of you on teams now will be First alumni someday, and we hope that you will be excited to remain a part of the First community. Many of our First Tech Challenge team mentors and event volunteers are First alumni. Be sure to thank them and ask them about their journeys. Learn more about First alumni benefits and tools to make the most of your First experience on the First website. And finally, we are continuing to expand the First Tech Challenge Championship footprint. At the 2024 First Championship, we're growing team participation from 192 to 224 teams, allowing more teams than ever the opportunity to qualify. It will still require teamwork, grit, and your best gracious professionalism to get there, but we want to ensure every team around the world has a merit-based opportunity to earn a spot. And now, without any further ado, here's the information you've all been waiting for. Center Stage, presented by RTX. We hope you enjoy the game and wish you the best of luck for an amazing and inspiring season.
Thank you, Joanne. We also want to share an enormous thank you to our dedicated game design committee, Jessica Ballin-Smith, Michael Coleman, Mark Edelman, Aaron Fadden, Joe Parado, Manny Lowe, and Kevin Rudd. Thank you for the hundreds of hours you have spent creating, refining, and documenting this year's artistic and creative game, and the hundreds of hours you'll spend in season. We can't wait to show you the most important part of our Center Stage Kickoff, the reveal. A special thank you to the very spectacular 2019-2020 Volunteer of the Year winner, Kevin Thorpe, for the beautiful animation, and First's very own Michelle Long for narrating every detail. After the reveal, make sure to stick around for the field walkthrough. And now, the exhilarating reveal of the 2023-2024 First Tech Challenge game, Center Stage, presented by RTX.
Welcome to the First Tech Challenge 2023-2024 season game, Center Stage, presented by RTX. A team consists of up to 2 driver operators, a human player, a coach, and a robot. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Each alliance is allowed 1 human player. Your opponent for one match may be your partner for another. Robots must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing tool and may expand after the match begins. The primary scoring element is a plastic hexagonal-shaped pixel 3 inches across by 1/2 inch thick. There are 64 white pixels and 10 each yellow, green, and purple pixels. Teams may construct custom game and scoring elements, including paper drones and team props. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot-high walls. 2 trusses are located midfield. Between the trusses is the hinged stage door. In the back of the field are the backdrops, 1 for each alliance. Beneath the backdrops are taped-off backstage areas. In the front corners are taped-off wings. In each quadrant of the field are 3 separate spike marks. Just inside of the front wall are white pixel location stripes, and outside of the front wall, there are 3 taped-off landing zones. April tags are located in the field wall and both backdrops to aid navigation. Blue and red alliance stations are on the left and right sides of the field, and in front of those are the red and blue human player stations. Before each match, pixels are stacked next to each player station and on the inside of the front wall. 4 pixels are placed on the spike marks. However, team props may be substituted for the spike mark pixels. Teams place their robots on the field, touching the side walls. Each team may preload 1 yellow and/or 1 purple pixel onto their robot. Teams may also preload 1 drone onto their robot. The spike mark pixels and team props are then randomized. The field and players are now ready. The match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. During this time, teams may attempt to score using pre-programmed instructions and sensor inputs. A purple pixel placed on the spike mark tape earns 10 points. However, if the spike mark tape has a team prop, placing a purple pixel will earn 20 points. Each pixel in the backstage earns 3 points. And each pixel placed on the backdrop earns 5 points. If a yellow pixel is placed on the backdrop in the location indicated by the spike mark pixel, it earns 10 bonus points. Or 20 points if a team prop was used as an indicator. Robots parked in the backstage earn 5 points. Pixels scored in the autonomous period will also earn points at the end of the driver-controlled period. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver-controlled period. During this time, human players may introduce new pixels into the wings. Each pixel that is placed backstage earns 1 point, and each pixel on the backdrop earns 3 points. Each mosaic of 3 identical or 3 different pixels earns 10 points. If an alliance can build pixels above the set lines, they earn a 10-point bonus for each line they cross. The last 30 seconds of the driver-controlled period is the end game. Robots may continue scoring pixels, and there are also ways to earn bonus points. Robots may launch drones over the truss or stage door and into the landing zones. Depending on where they're parked, they can earn 10, 20, or 30 points. Robots parked in the backstage area earn 5 points. And a robot suspended by the rigging earns 20 points. There are many ways to score in Center Stage, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will deduct points from your alliance. Robots may not limit the upward motion of the stage door. Robots may not descore pixels from the opposing alliance's backdrop. Intentionally damaging another robot is not allowed. A robot may not affect the flight of an opposing alliance's drone. A robot may not make contact with an opponent suspended from the truss. This has been a summary of this season's game, Center Stage, presented by RTX. For complete rules, please read both game manuals and check the Q&A forum. And always remember the most important rule of First Tech Challenge, gracious professionalism. Good luck, teams, and have a spectacular season.
Wow, what an exciting game we have ahead of us this season. Here to give us a closer look at the field is Erin Fadden.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Erin. Erin is a Game Design Committee team member and First Tech Challenge project manager.
Hey teams, I'm Erin Fadden, member of the First Tech Challenge Game Design Committee. First, I want to give a huge shout out to the Game Design Committee for all of their hard work they put in year-round to design each game. I hope you're excited about this year's Center Stage game presented by RTX. Center Stage will include 2 team-built elements to be used to earn points. The team game element, which is called the team prop, is the team-built element that is only used during the autonomous period. This is referred to as a game element because it cannot be picked up and scored after use during the autonomous randomization task. The drone is also a team-built element, but this is used during endgame for scoring. The drone has some specific build rules. For example, it must have the general configuration of an airplane with a defined fuselage. It must be built with 1 sheet of paper, and teams must build at least 2, 1 red and 1 blue drone. So, if you're thinking, a crumpled up piece of paper will work, right? The answer is no. That would not be considered a legal drone. Make sure to carefully read the team prop and drone build rules that are outlined in the Game Manual Part 1 when constructing each of these items. New this season, we are using April tags for robot navigation and autonomous tasks. There are a total of 8 April tags on the field. As you saw in the animation, there are 3 unique April tags on each of the backdrops and 2 unique April tags over the pixel stacks in front of the field. The scoring element in this year's game are the pixels. There are 94 pixels that come in 4 different colors. Each pixel is approximately 3 inches wide and 1/2 inch thick. Pixels are scored on the backdrop. Here you can see that the backdrop is at a 30-degree angle to help the pixels stay in place when they are scored. Robots can simply place pixels onto the backdrop or onto other scored pixels. They can also be dropped from higher up and should still stay in place. Teams should be cautious while scoring on the backdrop and do their best to not knock or shake it. Some level of contact is okay, but knocking the backdrop hard enough can cause the pixels to descore. Spanning the field are the trusses, riggings, and stage door. The truss includes height limiting bars that are 14 inches from the playing field floor. Teams will have to be thoughtful in their robot design to accommodate traversing the field with these lowered heights. The truss also includes the riggings, which are the red and blue bars for their respective alliance. Robots may suspend from the riggings during endgame. Only 1 robot can hang at a time from their alliance rigging. The stage door, prior to being lifted, has a 12-inch clearance from the playing field floor. The door can be raised to approximately 26 inches. Stoppers on the sides of the truss will not allow the stage door to be raised any higher. The width of the stage door provides enough space for 2 robots to travel through at the same time. However, robots traveling from the audience side of the stage door have transit priority. There are rules outlined in the Game Manual Part 2 that penalize robots that grasp onto the stage door. This is another area of the Center Stage game where teams will have to come up with some creative designs to effectively lift the door to travel from one side of the field to the other. And finally, as part of the end game, robots may launch their drones to score points. The drone must be launched so that it passes over the rigging or top pole of the stage door to be eligible to score points. Robots that are hanging from the rigging may also launch their drone during endgame. Neither a drive team member or robot should interfere with a launched drone. Interfering with the opposing alliance's drone while in flight will cause the affected alliance to automatically earn points for landing zone 1. I hope you enjoyed this overview of Center Stage. Please make sure to read both the Game Manual Part 1 and Game Manual Part 2. There are 2 versions of each of these manuals on our website for both remote and traditional gameplay. Every team is allocated 1 account to ask questions and receive official answers on the First Tech Challenge forum. Thank you so much for tuning in, and best of luck this season.
Thanks so much, Erin. The field looks full of creative and fun new challenges. We can't wait to see your creative solutions and robots in action on the field. If you're watching but haven't registered yet, there's still time to join in on the action. Visit our website for details and to get started. Be sure to tag First Tech Challenge on your team's social media throughout the season so we can keep in touch and see how your team is tackling the game. Thanks for joining us to kick off this season and for being part of the First community. Now it's lights, camera, steam.
Now this is me. All right, so what'd you guys think? A little crazy? It was very, very exciting to see the response in this room, you guys. Like, it was really cool, and I'm sure you guys all who are watching us had the same. A lot going on. So, to be fair, Tyler and I have lived a life of craziness for the last couple of days, so this did not get taped. For 2 reasons, actually. 1, because we lived a life of craziness. For 2, the taping is changing. We're not using 2-inch tape anymore, we're using 1-inch. So we honestly didn't have any. But we can get the gist and we can work through this today with what we have. And I actually ordered tape. The nice thing is that it's actually cheaper now because it's only 1 inch. So the only place that we really matter is right here where you're flying your drones. The thing to keep in drone is it's every 2 feet. So it's, there's a tape mark at 2 feet, 4 feet, and 6 feet. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at it. Tyler looked at me and said, "Man, I'm glad I'm not a ref this year." And I said, "Yeah, gee, thanks." So there's a lot going on. I have a couple of notes that I came up with. Game Manual Part 2 is now going to be released to you guys in the next couple minutes. And so make sure you take a look at it.
The scoring summary for the game is up on the...
And I just handed it to them. You guys all in the room now have a 1-page summary of the game.
I don't know that I'll be able to do anything about that, unfortunately, because it's just speed quality.
No, it must be somebody on YouTube saying that it's...
Up there it's fine, but on the YouTube it's forward.
Okay.
Oh, you're set to 142 because of Wi-Fi.
Okay, so a couple of major notes to keep in mind, and I'll show on the field. All right, first thing, which I thought at the time when it came out, I was like, yeah, nobody's ever going to do this. Warnings: the first time you jump over this as a human, second time it's a yellow card. And I actually laughed and thought nobody's going to jump over this, but they are. Because you're going to go to get your robot on that side, and you need to make sure that you're not going over this. Because if you trip over it, you could take out the whole playing field for quite some time. So no going over it, and I've had to stop myself 3 times today already. The other thing to note is, and I saw Nora do it, she went like this. Human player is on the opposite side of the field as the Alliance. So blue Alliance, red human player. Red Alliance, blue human player. So as much as a lot of this game is structured to have you play on your own side, when you're coming to get your pixels, you have no choice but to cross sides. I will reiterate with what Erin said, 1 robot per hang. So these bars. It's interesting. Right now, Game Manual Part 1 has taken out The weight, oh, we have it? Okay, but we don't have a weight limit. We're gonna watch the forums to see if that changes when people start trying to hang. But right now, there's one robot per bar. No hanging from each other, so it's not like you can hang and have somebody else hang. We have seen that in years past.
So is it one robot per bar? So
Yes.
So both robots hang going around different?
Yes. So in your end game, yes, absolutely, both robots can hang. You just have to hang from separate bars. And honestly, I'm not even sure it's totally worded that it's separate bars. It's just that you have to be. No, it is. Okay. Separate bars. It also says that, like, you can use the sides to steady yourself, but it can't be supporting you. You have to be hanging from purely your own mechanism. Look at this. Yeah, listen, this was us at 10 o'clock. Go for it.
Is there a rule on how many pixels the box should have control over?
Yes. Possession limit is 2. Your robot can hold 2 pixels and 1 drone. So there is a ton of rules on what the drone can actually be, which that's when I say, I'm happy not to be an inspector. The drones can only be created by 1 sheet of paper and 1 sheet of copier paper. Cannot be cardstock, cannot be cardboard, cannot be any of that. It's even very specific as to how it gets its color. Because it's all about, you can't color a whole piece of paper with a wax crayon. Because guess what? You've added weight. So there's very specific guidelines. Erin said you need to bring 1 of each color. If you only bring 1 of each color to every competition, I might hit you. Like, absolutely make sure that you are that you have a lot. Because they're single sheets of paper, you guys, out here with robots. So, who knows? They may make it to the second round.
I would recommend finding Personally, I would recommend finding the folding design that you want to do, and then creating a template of that in like a PDF. That way you can print a sheet that is white, or a sheet that is blue, and a sheet that is red, so that they're pre-colored for you. And you have all the lines to fold on, so that at a competition, when you're freaking out trying to make a new drone because your old one got crushed, you have all the lines there and you can just fold it on the lines. So that would be my recommendation on.
Here's us giving strategies.
Right. Listen.
But again, you will have, you can preload 2 pixels and your drone right from the very beginning. Team element, 3x3x3 to 4x4x4. Can't be any smaller than 3x3x3. Can't be any bigger than 4x4x4. And they've actually put in this year, and I don't know how much we see it, but we do occasionally see it. It has to be standing. It's however it's oriented. So you can't. Yeah, what, Mr. McNally?
Did it not resemble anything in particular?
There was less about resembling. But like I said to Tyler, again with the drones and with these things, we're going to work harder with the inspectors so that we make sure that this stuff is coming to the field correct, because
it also has to be all the color of your alliance. So if you're a blue alliance, your team marker has to be all blue. And if you're a red alliance, your team marker has to be all red. So it is more strict on that end.
Right. So you have to come with 2 team markers.
So to that, can it look like a pixel?
I don't think so. I do think that it can't resemble this year's elements, so it can't be a pixel. But that came out. That will also hit. That's going to be an addendum. The other thing you'll see is that Game Manual Part 1 will update today or in the next couple of days. And in that is the addendum of specifics for team element and drone. They obviously couldn't put it out till today because You guys didn't even know what a drone was, so they couldn't be giving you details of drones. So, Tyler, what do you think the most obvious question is?
I think the most obvious question is, what is the height of these bars that I'm currently installing?
14 inches.
They watched the video better than you did. Go for it.
What is the artist's bonus? Because they said that in the video, like the colors, the way the colors are.
Yes, so they're mosaics. Yeah, mosaics, right? I've been trying to say it 3 times fast. Good luck with that. So it's how, I'm going to show them. So it's how they're arranged on here. And it's not based on the white ones. The white, did kill me. The white ones are just points, but the mosaics either have to be 3 of the same color or 1 of each of the colors. So that's a mosaic. Oops. And this is a mosaic, except that in order to be a mosaic, you then have to be surrounded by white. So they have to be extremely distinct mosaics. So this would be a mosaic, and then we would have to do white ones, which make sure teams, before you leave, we have white ones to give everybody, so you guys have stuff to work with it back in your places. Yes, guess what, you guys? They fall out really easily. That would make a mosaic.
Can you put one at the top and release it?
Yes. Oh, can I? Would you like to see me do that? So it's kind of like Plinko.
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
The whole time, except I don't.
We all just totally hated ourselves. They're like, what?
Yeah, they think it's Drew. Drew
Are you allowed to like move a hexagonal story on there, or is that because?
A pixel afterwards? I don't think so, because I think that's considered descoring.
You can descore your own stuff.
Oh, but you can descore your own. There you go.
If you have a robot that like pushes all the pixels, is there a limit to how many pixels you can push?
2. If you're controlling them to score them, 2. They're going to be on white things in the front, 5 of them on each of them on the front. Those, if you plow in them and knock them down, that's okay. So there's always a difference, and we go over this every year, about what's controlling and what's plowing. Because controlling you can't do, plowing you can. So really it becomes what's the intent of what you're doing. If it's inconsequential and it's just kind of moving the field, yes, you can do that. But if you can't plow 10 of them to backstage to score them. That does not count. And there will be tape that goes this way to give you backstage. It's the one, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's the 1 tile worth, and then it cuts over this one. We've been told for the 30% or the 30 degrees that it's letting you see 5 full little teeth that make this go together, and then that's how we're going to know it's at 30 degrees. What other questions? I'm sure there's lots. This, remember, only goes this way. Obviously you can't come back from backstage this way. You can figure out how to lift it and go under. Something that Erin said, and is something to really keep in mind, the people coming from audience side going this way, the robots, they have right of way. So if you're standing here and trying to figure out how to lift this and you're impeding them from moving, you have to move, otherwise we're going to end up having to penalize you.
Is there a rule against throwing pixels?
Yes, you can. The only thing that you can project or projectile is the drone. So yeah, so the in the stage door, there is going to be a lot of, having to make sure that you're out of their way.
The QR code, April, what are they called?
April tags, QR codes to the rest of us.
Okay. So do they move?
No.
So
those are attached to these.
the autonomous period, how does that work for scoring the 20 points?
So for the autonomous period, if you use your own team element to figure out which of the three, so there's going to be 3 spikes on the floor, and then your team element will be on one of those 3 spikes or a white pixel.
Based on our same rolling the
Based on
dice
randomization.
randomization. Yeah.
If you use your team element, based on which one of those 3 corresponds to one of these 3 zones. Okay. So the QR code is really more something for you to be able to see where that zone is with your robot. And the April tags, I believe, give you a location as well as where they are relative to you. Okay. So you can use that April tag to zero in on that zone and then drop your element.
They're stationary.
They will be stationary.
There's
Zone 1 is both of these, or left is both of these zones. Center is both of those 2 zones. And then right is both of those 2 zones.
And they're the same whether it's red or blue.
Correct.
So if you look at the April tags are the same.
Right. It's left, center, right as you're looking at the unit.
There's also going to be April tags against the wall. There's a big one on the side and then 2 smaller ones next to them.
Do you actually need to be able to read the April tag, or do you just know they're left center right?
No, if you can dead reckon into the zone, you can dead reckon into the zone.
Right.
What's the distance out from those white lines? How far is that? The white lines for the drones that are
2 feet. We are, as a tournament director, and that's some space. And we're also trying to come up with a way to make it easy. So I don't know, like we've talked about taking a 6-foot rug, taping it off, rolling it up, and then, and then it comes and it's done. It doesn't matter. For you tournament directors, it means you have to add an extra 6 feet. Yeah, no, exactly.
What I'm
I don't have a problem.
What I've really been looking at doing is actually getting more mats, almost like what we have for the field, that go on the outside of the field, so we can stick them all together, tape them off, and then pull them up when we're done and be able to move them from place to place.
But again, not a thing for you guys, but just know that
also
there's
not
an extra
finalized.
fee.
We might wind up taping on the floor. We don't really know.
For the scoring of the 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, does the entire airplane need to be behind the line?
If it's in 2 locations, it counts for both locations.
No.
Or it counts for the higher.
The higher location.
Sorry.
Okay, so as long as part of it is touching the zone, you're good.
Correct.
Yes. And the interesting part to me, because I've watched this and listened and then promptly forgot, is that you make more points the closer to the field you are. So I was like, really? So they obviously consider that you're going to be able to projectile it. It's going to be more a matter of trying to get it close. So.
Beyond, or is it like one to two? One to two. Is there like a penalty?
I think once it's out, it's out.
I bet it goes to 0.
Okay.
Because it's 30, 20, 10, so it's probably
right.
Yeah, there's a line behind them.
Right. That's why I just look it at.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. Hey, the audience member just caught that on the other side. We're all set.
So
B1 is going to give me
right.
Yes.
The other fun part is that any contact with those drones. So if your human
Not at this
player
point.
knocks
You
a
should
drone out of
hopefully
the
have
air
things-
while
that
they're
might
standing there,
change.
automatic 30 points. No, it gives the Alliance whose drone was knocked out of the air 30 points.
So this is.
No. So if I'm Blue Alliance, right? I'm Blue Alliance robot right here. Red Alliance human player is there. If I shoot my drone in that direction and my Red Alliance human player hits that drone out of the air, automatic 30 points. And it doesn't matter if I did it on purpose or not.
Well, what happens if I was gonna say, if it's an incidental, like if the human player is here and that over there shoots it and it comes over and it hits them.
The current way it reads, the current way that the drone rules read, at least the way that Lisa and I are interpreting it, is if it was intentional or unintentional, if you mess with the flight of your opposing alliance drone, your opposing alliance automatically gets 30 points for that drone.
Well, and this is where we're having a problem from a reffing point of view, because this field just continues to get more and more crowded outside of the field, you know. Our refs, if our refs are standing in it and you hit the ref, they get 30 points. Okay. So refs need to be conscious of what's happening too, which is, this is normally, yeah, except for my team that might want to hit them.
So what if you hit a human player, but like your drone clearly isn't going to make it into the...
If you
right now,
hit the opposing alliance, it doesn't matter where it was going. If you hit the opposing alliance right now, the way it reads is that it's an automatic.
And what I will say...
So I know where these guys, what stops them from launching the drone at the human player?
Well, that's the, nothing.
Right.
Sorry.
Listen,
I hear where they're
my thing the last week or so, I've been saying to Lisa, shoot it at the drive team.
Right.
Because they're not going to move.
It's going to come up in forums, guys.
Oh, it's absolutely
like, there is no way that this isn't going to be one of the very first forum questions. You know.
Yeah.
How do you best, like the rules forums, what's your best practice on keeping up with the rules? Because in the changes, is it a weekly thing you guys look at the forums? Is it a bi-weekly?
So, okay.
Okay, yeah.
We have a bot that scans the forums and sends it to a group chat that all of us are in.
Right, so we use so our team uses Slack as our team communication, and we actually have a Slack channel set up that, so the forums are put out as an RSS feed as well, and you can pull that and we just dump them right into Slack. So anytime there's a new forum post, it hits our Slack channel. Outside of that, I would say probably weekly-ish. There are going to be some weeks, though, that if you wait a full week to read the rules, the updates, you're going to have 50 of them. So sometimes it's worth doing the daily thing and just doing a daily watch it. You also could potentially look at trying to set up a way that you get an RSS feed that emails your team email. So if you can set it up as a team to monitor the forum and just email the team every time there's a new post, that's an option too. But yeah, like Corin said, we have it set up in Slack. So every time a new forum post, we get a Slack notification.
I know my teammates don't even know that there's a forum with updated.
And to be fair, and they're probably better than I am, after a while, I stop looking at them because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're coming so frequently. They're in charge of looking, not me, because some of them don't care, some of them we don't care. I will say from a reffing point of view, we obviously keeping track of it more. One interesting thing that hit us last year, and we're gonna have it again this year, is moving the pixels off the line. So you can knock them over, because remember, there's 6 lines of pixels, 5 pixels in a row, okay? So when you go to pick them up, remember last year we had that whole thing that happened with you can't knock it off the line. This year they have gone very specific. The line is showing, you've moved it too far. So we're not messing with half inch one way or the other. There's your ruling. They put it right in the book. If you can see the line. Now you can knock them over. So if they fall over, then it doesn't matter. But if you actually are trying to grab them and you're grabbing them, move them off of that line, it's a penalty. And I mean, it makes sense because we went through this whole thing last year where, like, as we got further in the season, we ended up with more and more issues. So they've put it right in the thing. Is my game manual part 2? Yes. Thank you.
Do you want one?
No, I don't want one. As I started looking through it, I had made some notes in 2. Interference during autonomous. Again, this is a lot of stuff that you guys are going to read in the book, hopefully. But I figure if we talk about it, that's better. They really are trying to get you to stay on your own side for autonomous. So they're really saying blue does their stuff on this side, red does their stuff on this side. And if, I mean, they're actually calling like ABC is the blue side, DEF is the red side. If there's any interference anywhere in here, it's a penalty. You obviously can go there, and it's the same thing that was last year, so some of this hasn't changed. You can go there if the other team isn't trying to do autonomous, then you're fine. But you just don't want to mess with it. Cannot descore. Movement, I talked about.
Now that we have letters and numbers on our tiles, which squares are you allowed to park in? Is it 18 inches? Just like
Well, you know what's very interesting to me? You have to touch the wall, and you can't be in a scoring element, or a thing with a scoring element. So you really have this one.
You see, there's like one place you could park.
This one and this one.
They do have a defined zone too.
What do you mean?
They have a defined zone for where you can put your robot.
Right, but it's like David's saying, you just took it down. It's A2 and A4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because it can't be where there's a scoring thing, so you can't be back here because this scoring touches it. You can't be there, the wing, because there's a wing there. So really you have...
I don't think it can be 5 because then you wouldn't be able to see your element.
That's your problem.
Right.
Yeah, that...
Your
Well, no!
Your.
But you don't know! I don't mean like, yeah, it's totally your problem. But no, like that, yes, that is a team strategy, but that...
You're wrong.
Starting location, blue alliance robots must start completely in tile A2 or A4. Red alliance robots must start completely in tile F2 or F4.
Okay.
So they're giving you specific.
Okay, perfect, that's good, and I will tell you that from a refereeing point of view, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that means we can come along and just say, yeah, no, you can't
And
be
that is completely in that square. That's not partially in. That means that every single bit of your robot has to be inside the vertical lines of that square.
Which makes sense, because I mean, honestly, this is not set up totally right, because I think this should be more this way.
It needs to be more over here.
So, go ahead, Corin.
Penalties adding or subtracting noise this year?
It's the same way it's always been, which is adding.
It changed last year.
It did, well, see, to us, it was before. It was before COVID, it was the right way, then we changed it, then we're back to that. It's adding points to your opposing alliance. Because then also what comes up is they do no penalty versus, like you get a penalty score and a non-penalty score. But for you guys, for your wins and losses have stayed the same. You either win, you lose. I know, all you guys don't like that. But there's the cumulative is there, but it's just wins and losses.
Minors are 10, majors are 30.
May not hang from another robot.
Hitting a person with your drone is well, I guess
it's
major, but it essentially gives you the 30.
It gives you points, yeah. You'd rather hit the person than take a 30-point penalty. Because then it's on your own score. You cannot grasp this to lift it. You have to figure out a way that you don't actually have control of grabbing it, okay? If you're lifting it. Disrupted, you need to make sure, again, alliance comes, or audience side comes first.
Right, so drones coming from the audience to the back. Robots coming from the audience side to the backstage side have priority. So you have to get out of their way if they're trying to come back that way.
You may not block access to the other person's wing. So the other thing that's happening now is keep in mind, you're going to the other, you're going to the other side to score. You cannot impede them to get to the win to score. Disabled robot is not, okay, so let's talk about the wing. Let's talk about the human player again. And the fact that, again, do not reach in to put pixels in there when the robot's in there. Because that's a reffy nightmare, and you're gonna get penalized. We're on our second year of doing this, so we're not gonna play halfway through the season of warnings. It's gonna be much sooner of you go in there, what? Third year. Well, again, right. So I mean, again, like, obviously, brand new, spanking new teams will teach them. But in general, do not put your hand in and put the pixels in if there's a robot there. And robot drivers, move your robots so they can put the pixels in. This is, I spent half my year last year being really annoyed with your human players, and so I started realizing it was a two-way street. Like, you can't just be mad at the person that's trying to put the pixels in. You have to be equally mad. You need to, as a driver, get out of the way. And if you're out of the way, then they can drop your pixels. You can have a maximum of 6 pixels in the wing at a time. You could, as a human player, you can put 2 pixels in at a time. Once you put them in and they touch the ground, as a human player, you cannot touch them again. So if you don't like where they ended up, oh well, please don't put your hand back in. Because again, that's going to be a penalty. So constraints for that, it's a smaller area than it was last year, because last year you had a whole tile. This year you have half. There is a line, and you can only put it in the front half. So definitely be working with your human players on how that's going to go. On top of those, all right, Tyler, this is where I am not totally. Human players are introducing white ones and purple ones.
Human players have the colored ones and white ones, yep.
White ones are the only ones you're going to have along the front. In stacks of 5, 6 stacks of 5.
So say you wanted to like purposely knock over the stack of pixels, like I don't see how you can knock over a stack without it coming off.
No, if it's totally knocked over, because the other thing is, a lot of this talks about strategic advantage. If you've knocked them over, I think they believe that the strategic advantage, you've lost the strategic advantage as much as everyone else. If you've just moved them a little bit so it's easier for you to pick up, they don't want you to do that.
You knock them over because you have to knock them over to pick them up.
Again, forum posts. Right now, according to this, good strategy. Somebody's going to do it. Several people are going to do it. Some people are going to ask. And when they do, then they'll decide. Those are some of those gray areas that no matter how much they define, they can't define because they can't see it. So it ends up being a reffing decision at the field because you can see intent versus not intent. What else can I answer? Drone constraints. Again, really just read that. It's Game Manual Part 1, 7 point something, and it's on Team Element. And Tyler said before, Team Element has to be the color that you are, and the whole thing has to be that color. Drones, you have to write your number on, okay, because you have to be able to identify. But again, in your rules, you can only write it once, because apparently writing your number twice adds weight. I don't know, but you're only putting it on one part of the thing. Again, I think they're trying to figure out how people make sure that they don't add weight to a paper airplane that's going to...
What about the teams that only got 4 numbers and the teams that have 5 numbers?
I know, there you go.
Advantage.
Maybe you do 0, 4, 8, 0, 9. All of a sudden you start seeing these extra numbers, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but again, one spot...
What is Technotrix? Technotrix is 14.
18.
Right.
Poor Technotrix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're in trouble in our region. I think they're the only ones that are not at least a 4.
They gotta add zeros.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so never ever step over. I highlighted that because we talked about that. That is a penalty. On this was not completed, but this is going to go here. So it's not like these doors will go...
It's going to go the other side, but that's okay.
Oh.
This way.
No, inside.
Inside, thank you. So it's not going to go higher than this.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to lift them way up. They do have constraints that way. When you get your field, have fun. We have those silly little stoppers again.
Oh yes, the rubber stoppers. Those are back.
Tyler may
So happy about
actually,
that.
hurt somebody.
The rubber stoppers
From
in the pipes.
Andy Mark.
Like last year's field for all of the stand-up pipes. Yeah, all 4 of these pipes have rubber stoppers in the one end to give you a bolt. It was a lot of fun last night.
Yeah, he was not very happy with that.
Other than that, I strongly suggest finding a drill with a bit that will do the Allen keys because it saves a lot of time. The Allen keys and all of these pieces have bolts in them that are self-tapping. So again, a screw gun with that head, with that bit.
On a slow, low speed.
Yeah, go gentle because you can strip those out, but it'll save you so much time over like a wrench or something. These things, these black pieces, are a pain. The way that the instructions have you do them is to bolt one on and then bolt them together and then bolt the other side on. I would recommend bolt these 2 together first and then put the 4 bolts through the plate because once you have them attached, it's a little hard to get these screws in that clamp them together. So personally, if I were to build a field again, I would bolt the 2 sets together first and then do the 4.
But do that once and figure out if there's a reason why Andy Mark told you to do that. Because there is a chance that there is actually, he didn't do it the other way. You know, what he's telling you to do sounds great.
Everything's loose. So when you first bolt everything, it's all 6 bolts on these are loose because you need to be able to slide the pipes in. So you're going to loose bolt everything, slide the pipe in, and then all I had to do was tighten the top bolt on these down because the bottom one can just stay where it is. You're just clamping around that pipe.
The other thing to keep in mind when you're putting the field together is this has to be adjusted. So you're going to put this, and learn from example as we figured out last night that all of a sudden, all right, when we put it all on, it didn't work. So then we had to make this one smaller to fit, just because I guess in nature it just didn't, there is a measurement that works for that.
It's supposed to have like 2.5 inches showing, I think, give or take. So we just wound up when we put it on, we just adjusted it again. The back walls, these things for attaching the legs are kind of a pain because of how the bolts, there's nuts that are all the way in the back that are very hard to get to. You're either going to want the right size wrench, an actual little wrench for that, or a pair of needle nose is how I did them. I just got in there with a pair of needle nose and held the nut. You're not going to be able to get a socket in there. It's just not going to work. So those are your 2 options on that, really.
And your tape parts are going to be right in front, and there's one that goes this way, one that goes this way, one that goes this way. So it's a C circle on both of these, and it's a 12-inch piece of tape, 12 by 1, I think.
Yeah, looks like 12 by 1.
So it's a 12 by 1 piece, and then they'll be placed in the middle of those 3. Why don't you guys get up, come look, touch, feel, ask questions?
For the drones, besides color, is there a paperweight/type requirement?
Yes.
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 25.
Plain copier paper, no more than 20 pounds. Which I haven't bought paper, so I was a little bit like,
Specify what weight of paper?
yes, 20 pounds. Yeah.
The school paper's not that, so.
You can go buy it. I was all on cardstock when I first saw it. Thank you.
Whatever the cheapest typing they can get.
Are those angle pieces, are they bolted to the sidewall too?
No.
Okay.
Robovines? You guys have food over there.
Yeah, at this point, just think about what days will work. Everyone else will have days that work.
There were 3 sodas, we are in that kind.
Okay, we'll send them that way.
Yeah, we'll send them outside to get
Yeah.
their sodas.
Thank you.
There's 7 ships, so.
right, everyone, we are going to shut down the YouTube stream now. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great season.